So this is a 1795 cent with a decent amount of detail on it.
At the funeral, I meet Hunter Hicks, a coin trader and collector. He tells me why the US is halting penny production.
It's not economical anymore. They're not used widely enough. There's not a lot you can do with them. And it now costs 3.7 cents to make a penny. So it just got to the point where they're just have it.
Piece of attire in particular, the top hat. Signature item. Most rise up toward the sky, like the others, but Taylor and Emily's mini hats better embody the penny itself. Small, but distinctive.
I'm a huge Lincoln fan, so I named my cat after the penny. Her name is Penny, so I had to be here.
What will you miss most about the penny?
Around, you know, holding it, playing with it. It's been there all this time, and it's gonna be sad to not have constant.
And what are you looking for most today?
I think just remembering an American icon. My grandma was a big coin collector, so we would always take simple change out of her pockets and look at it, and the penny was one of them.
Americans won't be lacking for Abraham Lincoln on their money. Honest Abe, as he was known, is still on a $5 bill, but the $2 bill featuring Thomas Jefferson stopped being widely used long ago. Now, the third president is mainly featured on one coin, the nickel, worth just 5 cents.
Hello, my name is Thomas Jefferson.
And I am George Washington.
After the funeral, I spoke to 2 of the actors.
Just imagine me, Thomas Jefferson. The nickel is obviously next. So I think I'm taking it a little bit harder than he is.
Frankly, I don't care necessarily. The less people that are on a coin and a bill is actually good for me. It makes my brand better.
Yeah. Abraham Lincoln just joined the conversation. How are you feeling about today?
I'm just trying to keep it honest. Everybody has value. Every coin has value. And that's what I'm trying to promote, inclusiveness.
In the crowd, I find Marissa, dressed for the occasion in a veil and blouse. I thought she was mourning, but she quickly corrected me.
I don't like touching cash, really, so I'm not sad to see it go.
So you're here out of spite?
No, I'm here for the laughs.
Penny production may be over, but the penny itself will not be forgotten. As one mourner, Alex, eloquently told me.
It really upsets me when people come here as a bit, when they're not actually grieving the loss of a symbol of American exceptionalism that is the penny. That's my message. It's one of sincerity and disappointment.
You seem like profoundly impacted by this loss of the penny. How are you adjusting in your life?
Well, actually, it's pretty easy because I don't use the penny.
Thank you very much.
Of course, thank you.
Christina Volk in Washington for us. Stay with us. More Weekend is coming up.
That was the funeral for the penny. Hello, Daisy England. Just listening to the BBC News because they had a bit on the funeral of the penny because we'd retired the penny or stopped producing the penny in America. And so they had a funeral for it in DC. How are you? Nice to see you. Sorry about the trolls.
APM, American Public Media.
Always trolls here.
Support from Progressive Insurance.
But yeah, how are you guys? I'm a little disappointed we still have Trump. They didn't do something about making them release the files. But that's the way it is.
Your donation keeps the reporting reliable and the music alive on Colorado Public Radio. Every report, every song, every voice you count on. When you give
For currency, which controls the masses. They had a funeral for the penny.
you make sure that journalism,
Something to do. I mean, I think it was supposed to be a joke. They said it was a lighthearted affair. A lighthearted funeral for the penny.
Thanks for keeping Colorado Public Radio here for Colorado.
I mean, I don't think it's a great thing that Trump did to cancel the penny, but it's like the least bad thing he did. Everything else he does is worse.
Sudan's healthcare workers in the face of war. The Blue Star, Christone Ingram, speaks to the BBC about his music and a chance to meet our studio guests for the rest of the program. That's all coming up here on Weekend with Krupa Party.
soon. Sorry about the
BBC
trolls.
News with Chris Barron.
Here comes the news.
Venezuela has accused the Trump administration of international piracy after an oil tanker was seized off the country's coast for the second time this month.
Trump is a
American
pirate.
officials said the vessel was carrying sanctioned oil used to
Trump
fund
and
what
the
they called
Trump-Mutineers.
narco-terrorism, but offered no evidence. More than a dozen documents released by the U.S. Department of Justice relating to the late sex offender Jeffrey Epstein have been removed from a government website. They include an image featuring President Trump. The department says it's redacting material out of an abundance of caution.
Caution for people to come catch Trump.
Has ordered a review into the security services.
Grab him by the
after mass
posse.
Shooting at Bondi Beach last week. Anthony Albanese says it will examine whether the agencies have the right powers to keep Australians safe. Cambodia says more than 500,000 people have now been displaced by the latest round of cross-border clashes with Thailand. Both sides have blamed each other for starting this month's deadly fighting. South African police say a manhunt is underway after a shooting at a tavern left 9 people dead in the township west of Johannesburg. Around a dozen unknown suspects opened fire at people inside the licensed venue.
Ukraine's doing something about it. Ukraine's defeating
Of the
Putin.
Japanese bombing of Pearl Harbor has died at the age of 105. Ira Shaw was a 21-year-old sailor at the time of the surprise attack, which thrust the United States into the Second World War. In cricket, Australia have retained the Ashes. They beat England by 82 runs in Adelaide
They
to take
retained
an
the
unfavorable
Ashes.
3-0 lead in the 5-match series. The Africa Cup of Nations football tournament kicks off later today with the hosts Morocco.
Anyway, this is
facing
probably going to be about
Comoros.
football, so.
24 teams will be competing for the trophy, which is.
And we don't care about football in America.
In the last 8 editions.
Football can fuck off
That's
from
the
America.
latest BBC News.
Yeah. Well, you have a point. Don't understand why nobody does anything. If Trump's actions are so terrible, then surely someone would stop it, like for the sake of humanity and the sake of the USA. Yeah. Someone will.
Music as we hear from the guitarist and singer Christone Kingfish Ingram on the experiences that formed him and his music.
Probably a number of people will.
I too had some hardships that shaped me into the guy I am today. I learned real quick what life was all about. My faith.
So I don't know if we can listen to the music because they copyright stuff a lot.
For now, I want to introduce you to my 2 guests with me for the rest of the program. They're going to be giving us their personal take on the news.
Somebody's going to stop Trump, but it might be Ukraine that stops Trump. It might be that Ukraine defeats Putin and that defeats Trump. But, we need to do something in America. We certainly need to do our part in America to defeat Trump, especially for all the sacrifices everybody's done. I like to put it like Rob Reiner will defeat Trump, because Rob Reiner was going to bring people into criticizing Trump that otherwise we're not paying attention. But everything he does will ultimately turn more people against him. Putin's going down, and Trump's going down with him. Netanyahu's going down. Like all these tyrants and their little triad and beyond are going down. Now, Ukraine doesn't need Trump's help. Now that America's kind of out of the way, Ukraine will probably have an easier time beating Putin. But they're already beating Putin, let's be clear. Ukraine's already defeating Russia expeditiously. And the longer it goes on, the more Ukraine will win. They'll probably start taking Russia soon, or more of Russia. They might take all of Russia. And I say, let them have it. Spoils of war and all that.
21-22.
There's not much left between Ukraine and Putin.
Finance and tech, and then finally got kind of breakthrough foreign coverage in Mexico.
Nope.
Several years.
In fact, Europe cut off American intelligence because we can't be trusted under Trump. USA is now Russia too. It's just a foreign power. Russia has no army left. They've been kidnapping people from other countries. Daisy England has a point. Russia has no army left. They've lost 1.2 million men. They're kidnapping people from hundreds of other countries. They've kidnapped thousands of people from hundreds of other countries to get them killed in Ukraine. And Ukraine's not even losing anybody. They got women killing all the Russian boys and Russian prisoners, I guess it is. I think they've killed all the prisoners. They're going to have to start conscripting other Russians, I guess. Or you guys maybe should go back and try to fight for Putin, because you're not going to be able to save him from my life. That's for sure. In fact, I'll go ahead and curse Putin through you if you're a pro-Trump, pro-Putin person. Yeah, Ukraine's going to take Russia. And they deserve it. Fuck Russia. Russia shouldn't get to be a country anymore. For what they did, they get to be a... Russia gets to be like a province of Ukraine.
Was acting always like secret plan? How did it come about then?
They're not in a trench digging stalemate. Russia's losing. Y'all are stupid Trump Putiners for trying to put it that way. Hey, look at you. Look at you trying to act like Russia matters. You're all fucking Russian. You're all pathetic. We hate you all. I'm cursing you. I'm cursing your families, and I'm cursing Trump and Putin and Netanyahu through you. So you came to the wrong live, you dumb shits. Just shows how dumb Russians are. Usually I give you guys warnings, but since you came out as full Russian, all the Russians in chat, I'm cursing you. I'm cursing your families. Well, what's left of your families? You guys haven't lost any family members in Ukraine yet? None of your relatives are pushing up sunflowers? Stupid Russians. Russians are the stupidest people that have ever lived besides MAGA Trump Putiners. I don't know, it's not a contest, but it's pretty much a tie. You can tell between stupid ass Russians in comments and Trump Putiners who all say the exact same shit. Joined 5 years ago, you have 7 subscribers. Okay. Oh, I only hate Nazis. Hate Trump Putiners, Russians. Russians who don't overthrow Putin. Russians who aren't engaged in the overthrow of Putin. Are there any of those left in Russia? No, I am your history lessons, you dumb shits. I'm cursing you. I'm cursing you through. I'm cursing Trump and Putin through you. Russia doesn't have a chance. Russia's toast. Russia's done.
After fighting for more than 18 months, the city in North Darfur fell in late October. It's estimated at least 1,500 people were killed in the 48 hours after the RSF took control of the city. Tens of thousands were displaced, and many were tortured and raped.
Yeah, Russia's fucked. Ukraine's kicking Russia's ass. And everybody in Ukraine is doing more to save America from Trump and Putin than anybody in America, which is ridiculous. I'm good. How are you?
When my mother was injured by artillery fire in our home city of Al-Fashir. By then, I was already living and working in
Ukraine's beating Russia. They're driving Russia back. They just took out a Russian. I think they've destroyed Russia's entire navy, and Ukraine doesn't even have a navy.
My mother survived, and after she recovered, my family made the painful decision to flee. I chose to stay.
That's right.
I could not leave when so many of my patients, my people, had no way.
Ukraine has the support of all good people.
The healthcare system in Al-Fashir has almost completely collapsed. Only 11 doctors remain. Our hospital was repeatedly shared.
If you don't think Trump's a Nazi, then you're not intelligent enough to be on the internet. You shouldn't have internet access.
With almost no supplies, saving basic items like gloves only for surgery.
Russia just blocked their own Black Sea fleet.
Over in the city, everything fell apart. Civilians fled in all directions. I escaped with others under gunfire, watching people killed as they tried to run. I was later captured, held for 2 days, and released only after my family paid a ransom. I eventually reached the wheel, exhausted and heartbroken, but alive, and I began working in mobile clinics for people newly displaced from Al-Fashir. Many arrived hunger, injury, and deeply traumatized. The war took my hospital, but it did not take my purpose. Until the violence ends, we will keep doing all we can to help those who have lost everything.
Well, thanks to Mohammed Ibrahim for sending that through. A doctor there trying to work in the darkest of conditions in Sudan. Staying with the story, last week the UN released a report documenting killings that have taken place since April at the Zamzam refugee camp in northern Darfur. That's about 15 kilometers south of El Fasher. And the report states that more than 1,000 people have been killed since then. And in one incident, paramilitary fighters killed the entire staff of the largest medical clinic in the camp. Yasser Yusuf Elamin is the founder of SAPA, the Sudanese American
Someone's asking the
Physicians
Nazis in
Association.
chat why you're so
And he was
racist.
last in Sudan a month ago.
I just want to make the point that camps like Zamzam, like Abshok, these camps were established back in 2003 when we had the civil war in Darfur, and these became like permanent placement areas for IDP who fled the violence of 2003. Now it's kind of sad and tragic that here the residents will have to flee the war again from all these camps surrounding Al-Fashir in North Darfur due to direct attacks on Zamzam and Abu Shok and all the camps surrounding Al-Fashir city. Now in North Darfur, the only area that is you could call relatively safe is an area called Tawila. Tawila is 1 hour from Al-Fashir, and it's controlled by a militia, not SAF or not RSF. It's a militia called SLA, and it's viewed as neutral, but we don't know if RSF is going to leave it alone since they've controlled Al-Fashir recently.
And also the town, as I understand it, where many people who tried to escape El Fasher fled to. And when you said IDP, you're referring to internally displaced people, IDPs headed towards Tawila.
Correct. So tens of thousands arrived in Tawila. Having said that, we do believe that there are also tens of thousands held in Al-Fashir. Many we believe as hostages. I've spoken to doctors who had to pay ransoms to be able to leave Al-Fashir. So we do think that there are tens of thousands of people practically held as hostages inside Al-Fashir.
Goodness, doctors having to pay ransoms to actually get out of El Fasher to practice.
Correct. I think in particularly North Darfur is becoming completely lawless land, and the worst part is the blockage of not only humanitarian access but also the free access of media outlets to be able to report from the ground what's exactly happening there.
And some of your doctors and medical staff and aid workers, as I understand it, are facing threats as this war continues.
Absolutely, they're facing threats, and not that only. There are documented
Hello,
cases
Philippines.
where, for example, the RSF
Merry
has
Christmas.
held healthcare professionals against their will to be able to treat their own troops and so on.
In terms of what's happening at the border as well, obviously medical care is needed in great numbers there as well. You said that the areas are under-resourced, but people are still trying to...
Never mind the trolls in comments.
Just paint us a picture of what
I'm gonna shut down anyway, though. Just wanted to get the information about.
Sudan or Darfur is historically a very poor part of Sudan, where the healthcare system is really weak even before the war. And Chad, where people are fleeing to...
No, you're all trolls. You Trump supporters are all trolls.
And even when it comes to healthcare, I think it's years behind Sudan. So you can imagine when the troubles started in 2023, and there was this major attack on Al Junaina west of Darfur. Tens of thousands of Al Masalid tribe had to flee to Adri and to Abasha.
If you're not anti-Trump, then you're not worth talking to.
In Adri, for example, there is a very small hospital with no X-ray, with no CBC machine, now suddenly serving tens of thousands of people. So the situation there is horrific. It's stretched.
It'll be better without Trump. You'll see.
Dramatically. The UN has established a strong presence now in Adri, but I think they're able to meet only a fraction of what is really needed.
What do you want to see now in terms of concrete action?
I think the international community should push for immediate humanitarian access. I think we've had enough statements. We need very clear corridors that would allow humanitarian access. We also need very clear commitment to accountability if a hospital were to be attacked. Or
I'm going to remove all the curses from all the Trump Putiners in comments and curse Trump and Putin with them. I'm going to give you guys a chance to leave. Then I'm going to curse you all. And I'm going to curse Trump and Putin and Netanyahu through you. Y'all leave. Leave. Okay. I'm cursing you and I'm cursing Trump and Putin through you.
So if they were going to continue
I'm
to
cursing
fight,
you,
they should
and I'm cursing
fight
Trump and Putin through
in
you.
alignment with international law and in respect of human rights.
Yasir Yusuf El Amin from the Sudanese American Physicians
I only hate Trump
Association.
Putineers.
Alex
And you
Isabel,
for
lots of people
being
call Sudan
effectively
the
one, neutrally
forgotten
one.
war. Why do you think
And you
it
come
isn't
across
getting
as
the
one, so
attention it needs?
you might have just got cursed.
No idea.
Like a
Maybe,
dumbass.
Timing-wise, it's been crowded out by other conflicts
I don't know,
feel
some
somehow
question,
more immediately relevant to Europe. Maybe
some sort of question YouTube
there is
has.
an element of
YouTube's
being
robot
very
has a lot of
difficult
like
to sort of
fascination
pin
with
down
human food.
who are the good guys here. you
Merry
know?
Christmas.
And I think Western news finds it very difficult to report on ambivalent conflicts where
I bought some
both
Filipino
sides don't
art,
have an entirely
Filipino American
right
art
on their
a
side,
few years
if
ago.
that
It's
makes
really
sense.
cool.
And so it's a combination of all those things, but considering
Yeah, everyone
there
hates
was a
MAGA.
report in the Lord's Library only 2 weeks ago asking about the displaced population, and it's now up to 13 million. 9 of that is displaced internally, but 4 of it is fleeing to adjacent countries. And given these countries on this continent preoccupation with migration, I would think that there would be more of an interest in what's going on quite literally one country away from, Sudan borders directly with
Okay, I should call it quits.
Libya, which is one of the main points where people cross the Mediterranean. And yet
We
there
got all
seems to
MAGA
be
in the
sort of
live. Pretty pathetic.
lack of
But at least you're not bothering somebody else, right? At least here you got cursed, and you got Trump and Putin cursed through you. You got Trump and Putin and Netanyahu cursed through you.
That's the elephant in the room.
So,
The UN
you did
task
some
force
good against
recently
Putin's
addressed.
will.
He speculated, it's difficult not to assume that race has some role here. And Amnesty and other human rights groups have come out being incredibly critical about what they call near silence from the Europeans in particular on this.
Means you
this
got cursed
conflict.
for supporting Trump in the wrong live.
Lots of commentators call this really an interstate conflict. The people on the ground.
This dude looks like the old bum High Sparrow in Game of
There
Thrones.
are state actors here kind of influenced on both sides, which makes this incredibly messy diplomatically as well.
But it doesn't take away from the sheer horror of what unfolded in El Fashion.
Absolutely. The Guardian did a brilliant podcast recently.
What's going to unfold for you and Trump Putineers?
Spokesperson who sadly then was killed. And sometimes following these one individuals, it kind of brings these stories to light for audiences, for those listening today. You hear these huge numbers and it feels almost difficult to grasp. And this is very, very moving podcast of just one individual's life and just kind of the sheer horror of what's going on.
And talking of podcasts, this is something that you've raised in your own contributions to podcasts as well, Alex.
Yeah, all the time, and we have a sort of
Free Israel from Netanyahu.
Policy podcast in our family podcast called Behind the Lines, and we cover.
Good call, Free Israel from Netanyahu.
And we come back to it on an almost bi-weekly basis. But like I said, it's not easy. Another factor is that it doesn't have a particular inflection point where it all began, like what's going on in Gaza at the moment, where it had that incredibly dramatic moment that grabbed the world's attention, and then
Your God is
we
fake.
sort of keep up with it. It's very difficult.
Jesus
to
replaces the
get
Antichrist
into
Trump and Trump
educate
Putineers.
audiences about a thing that's been ongoing for years.
Jesus
and
is
years
replacing
and years,
all the
loads of
Christian churches.
moving parts, and so I mean,
Look at you with your channel activity. You joined 15 years ago and you have 13 subscribers.
and eventually
Straddling time.
it will find a slower news day, and it will begin to raise itself in people's consciousness, I think.
You're listening to the BBC World Service. I'm Krupa Bharti with Weekend.
Okay, I'm going to curse all of you. I'm cursing all your family and friends. I'm cursing Trump and Putin and Netanyahu through you.
A week on from the mass
Cursing all of you. Cursing all your family and friends. Cursing Trump and Putin and Netanyahu through you.
More on that later in the program. And Venezuela has condemned the latest seizure of an oil tanker off its coast by the United States.
I'm cursing you.
That as well.
Mike Hawk 11291. I'm cursing all your family and friends. I'm cursing Trump and Putin and Netanyahu through you.
From the U.S. state of Mississippi. This
Nope,
blues
that's not how it
prodigy
works.
started
Straddling
playing guitar
time.
at the age of 9, and his reputation
You guys got
quickly
cursed.
spread way beyond his
Putin and Trump and
hometown of
Netanyahu got
Pakistan.
cursed
When he was
through
15,
you.
he performed at
Watch
the
what
White
happens.
House for the then First Lady
You did some
Michelle
good
Obama.
against Putin's
To
will.
take you back,
Against
blues
your
music
will.
was
Putin's
pioneered
will.
in the early years of the 20th century by African Americans to express feelings of social and material hardship and existential pain. Over time, it evolved into a universal musical language influencing nearly every style of popular modern music. Today, Christone Kingfish Ingram is seen as one of the leading voices of a new generation of blues singers, blending the raw soul of
They're probably
classic
going to play
blues
his music,
with a
so
contemporary sound that
we should shut
appeals
it
to
down.
Gen Z audiences. Weekends